Hello, folks. We're hanging out tonight, and I'm going to invite Eric because he's going to say why he didn't invite me. And he likes to talk about stuff.
He was just on not too long ago talking. Well, you chatting with him on.
Yeah.
So
Let me make sure I'm off of stinking book faces. Okay, now, because that'll chime with the whole time. Now, we're talking tonight about a very important subject that people take very seriously, but you and I would agree probably way too seriously.
yeah.
And the subject, folks, is beer. And what type of beer, you may ask? Craft beer. Now, hey, we don't want to get too heavy here.
There's a Eric right there.
Here's Eric.
Hello.
We wanted to invite you because we didn't want you to be upset that we didn't invite you.
What's going
We're talking about one of your favorite subjects.
Uh-oh.
Beer, namely craft beer. And we were talking the other night, and we were saying, has craft beer jumped the shark?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Quite personally. I don't think so.
We have some ideas about that.
Yep.
John Walker. Okay, John Walker, you can join us, and so can anybody else. Here's what I'm drinking tonight. Samuel Adams Escape Route. And I'm gonna tell you what, I haven't had this in so long. I don't even know what it tastes like anymore. What is it? It's a what is this beer? It's a
I don't even know if I've heard of that, and I'm living
5% alcohol. I bought it in this new winter pack that just came out the other day. I know I've had Escape Route.
So well,
Of course.
I figured if we was talking beer and we was gonna do pub talk, Busch Light.
Oh, you just lost a whole lot of friends.
But Eric, what we want to do is what
He shows up.
talk a little bit about where craft beer is now and where it's going and what we think Anheuser-Busch has done by buying everybody up.
right.
What we'll do is, to make this not us talking over each other like a bunch of idiots, but what we'll do is we'll give each person a turn to talk. Because, heck, we got to wake up and do stuff tomorrow. Now, John Walker, you have been hurting our feelings so bad because you never show up, because he lets little things like his life get in the way of talking about beer. But then that would be appropriate, would it not?
My fiance doesn't like talking about beer on Wednesday nights. She likes to do things, apparently.
Some people are weird like that. They like to do like regular, normal people things. Now,
Right? It's boring.
we do weird stuff. Now, I talk about beer forever and ever and never get bored with it. But John, the question is, do you know where that expression came from? Jump the shark.
No, I don't.
Jump the shark?
Shark.
No, I've never heard that expression in my life.
Okay, I'm gonna explain that to you. Back in 1974, there was a TV show called Happy Days.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, my parents used to watch that.
It was a real popular show, and it was like from 20 years before. It was set in the 1950s, and it was real well made and a very interesting show. But what happened was, after about 2 or 3 years, they started running out of ideas. They changed the format after only 2 years, and people started to complain and noticed that the quality was going down. And so what happened, they got zanier and zanier, and it became basically a different show. And there was an episode where Fonzie, the tough guy in the show, literally jumped a bunch of sharks on a what do you call it?
Episode, yes.
Skiing.
Water skiing.
Water skiing, yeah, and jumped the sharks. So people had said, well, this show is a joke. Now, but it's funny because it lasted many more years after that, just with horrible storylines and ridiculous plots.
And then they did spin-offs like Joni Loves Chachi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So when people use the term "jump the shark," they mean it's gone over the edge and it's lost its original idea and is probably past the point of no return or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. I might have to revisit this beer in a formal review. I got another bottle in the fridge. I'm not too sure about this. Well, let me start talking first since I set the premise. Well, me and John Sharon kind of did. Then I'll turn it over to you. Okay, when I started drinking beer, it'll be 20 years ago next month. I was not necessarily differentiating between craft beer and macro beer. I was just trying everybody.
There wasn't as many craft beers around then.
Oh, no, indeed. But there were a lot, and I would try them, you know. Rick and Jack's from Louisiana and Acadian Brewing and some of these companies are gone now, like Rick and Jack's. But they were really good. But then on the other hand, I'd be grabbing Schlitz and Pabst Blue Ribbon. I was just trying everything. I wasn't part of this social struggle, but I knew there were some people that were like into that. But I noticed over the last 20 years it just got worse and worse. Now, it was interesting to try all the different beer brands, and they would taste different, whatnot. And then I noticed around the last, 10 years, you started seeing all these chocolate beers and chili pepper beers and
Sriracha
sauce and oyster beers and bell pepper beers and everything. And so
salt caramel pretzel.
Yup.
So I started thinking, I don't know, I think they've run out of ideas, and
Twisted pretzel, yeah.
I must say a few more things for about 3 or 4 more minutes, and then I'll let somebody else talk. But what I'm saying is, there's so many craft beer companies. Everybody and their grandma started a craft beer company, or like we used to call them, micro brews. Well, I mean, okay, you made a brown ale, you made an IPA, you made a stout. Well, okay, so what's to differentiate you from all the other people running around selling that stuff? So now that's why they introduced all this Lifesaver candy beer and all that stuff, you know. So that stuff never appealed to me. I always thought it was gimmick beer, and it usually isn't very good. I always would prefer the more, just make a good brown ale, make a good double IPA, make a good imperial stout, make a good lager, make a good pale ale, or whatever you're doing. And I think we were on the precipice of what you say, jumping the shark, perhaps. Like, we were getting close to things getting way out of hand. But I've noticed in the last year, maybe less than a year, that there's a big push back towards just authentic styles, and people seem to be getting really tired of all of this gimmick stuff. I think I think what really jumped the shark, or became not legit, was not the craft beers so much as the craft beer fans, the people that are enthusiastic about it. Their attitude over the last 20 years has deteriorated so bad that, you know, it's like a real nasty environment. And you got a lot of people that started drinking craft beer 2 years ago, and boy, you think they know everything, you know, and they're just, I don't know, it's like all these, what do you call it, posers. They want to, you know.
I believe it's called millennials, Jay. They're young millennials.
Hey, I'm a millennial.
Yeah. Well,
some of us are dumb. Now, well, I'll just put it out there. Some of us just, I guess you say posers. They want to go with the crowd, and if the crowd is going out of their way to do beer trades to get Treehouse Julius, and they're going to go and do that and feel connected to those people on Instagram and Facebook posting their photos of rare beers they got in some trade.
Yeah, so that, I think and I'm not saying that the gimmick stuff hasn't hurt. It isn't good for the most part. I don't mind sticky toffee, you know, pudding beer and all that, but I think it doesn't help in a lot of ways. But I think the worst part of it is the attitude of many of the enthusiasts that, I don't know, they don't seem to approach it correctly. But anyway, I'm going to go east to west, I guess. Eric up there in the northeast, and then we'll go to John Walker, who we hadn't seen so long. But we talked to a lot on text, right? So, Eric Frauenfelder, what do you think? Has it jumped the shark, so-called, or gone over the edge?
You know, I had a whole, and I did find the video. I had a whole video that I made of me ranting about what I really think about and I think you were saying it, not necessarily the craft beer movement is my issue, but more of the issue to me is the people within the craft beer community. Either people, now remember, there are people that like craft beer, people that just like macro beers, or like us, we kind of like both of them, craft and macro. So we don't have a horse in the race. We don't really care if it has to be only a craft microbrewery. We drink it all. We enjoy it all. That doesn't mean that we don't find beers to be bad or horrible or not, worthy of our time. But I think these craft beer guys, when they see these photos of people drinking Budweiser or Pabst Ribbon, or they hear that, Pabst Ribbon's not such a bad beer, they get all kinds of bent out of shape about it. Like, well, you need to be drinking Bourbon County Stout. Why are you drinking that lonely little Michelob Ultra? And it gets kind of annoying to the point where if you don't like a certain style of beer, then great. It's more on the shelf for me if I want to drink it. I think a lot of these craft beer guys are ruining the movement by segregating themselves from anybody else that wants to talk about beer and have a good time with beer. I don't think necessarily craft beer is the problem. I think it's the people that are involved in some of the online community that really aren't making it fun for anybody else that, say, like Jean wants to drink a Genesee Cream Ale and just have a good time drinking an easy drinking brew. That's just my issue, is people looking down on others and telling people on these forums and groups on Facebook that, oh, well, you're drinking Michelob Ultra, well, you're a terrible and bad person. You need to go run for your life. It's like, really? Get over yourself, craft beer people. We're all here to have fun and share beers and drink a beer. And if you can't do that, I think there's a bigger problem than you want to realize that there is. But that's just me.
Yeah. Well, I can't say that I disagree with you.
But I don't necessarily think that it's necessarily a problem with the craft beer people. The other thing that I think is another issue before I let the next person go is craft beer, to me at least, seems like it's going in the direction of, well, we got to find these rare beers, either rare beers or we got to find these beers that you can only go to their breweries and buy. So all these beers, like the Trilliums and the Treehouse and the Farm Hillstead beers, are really, and I guess the Pliny the Elder and Youngers are really these kind of beers that everybody's talking about, everybody's seeking. And if you're not drinking that beer, then shame on you, right? Which is kind of strange to me. I'd rather not go out of my way to get a really expensive, rare beer than, me going to the store and getting a good beer for a cheaper price that's available to me every day. Well, that's just me.
Yeah. Let's let John Walker talk, and then we're going to go to Zone 1.
Hey, how many of y'all get sick of craft beer prices sometimes? Like you look at I saw, what's that, St. Bernard's Christmas ale or something? I saw it for $25 for a 4-pack, and I about fell on the floor. Does that like,
That's
just
way
make
high.
you sad a little bit? It
St.
just
Bernard's.
really irritates me when I see beer prices that expensive.
I've never seen St. Bernard's in a 4-pack. We only buy it
And they had the big bottle of it for like $18.
Damn.
No, over here it's a lot cheaper. I don't know why you're paying that much.
It was a Belgian. I can't remember what it was. Apparently it was real popular.
Yeah, St. Bernard's Christmas Ale. That's a great beer.
It is. I mean, is it worth $25, $24? That's the thing.
No.
The great thing about capitalism, it has a way of weeding out things. And what I noticed working at the distributorship, a lot of the craft beer companies that did well in the area, they were the ones that had, like a good IPA, a good brown ale, a good cream ale, stuff that people thought of as normal craft beer. There was a couple companies in the area that really made some real off-the-wall wacky stuff. They sell the same pitiful small amounts because they bring out something that somebody might get. It's pretty cool for a month and it dies off the shelf. And so I really think that industry has a very small niche market. There's one company called Strange Ways. They make like peanut butter beer and pineapple beer. It's some weird stuff. And I think that's always going to be small, and there's people that drink it that are real snobby. It'll always be small. Like Budweiser, it'll always be around.
Yeah.
Do I think that kind of losing my concentration, but do I think what Budweiser is doing with their macro all the way slogan is good? I think it kind of ticks off a lot of craft beer people. What is that?
Pig's Ear Brown Ale from Woodstock Inn and Brewery in New Hampshire. Eh?
I think
Is that a
people,
big company?
John, I'm gonna say
Not
this, and
really.
I'm gonna turn it over to John Sharon. I think people are too uptight, man. It's like that Beach Boys song. They come at what is
Yeah.
the song go? They come at they come on like they're peaceful, but inside they're so uptight. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, why do you gotta be so uptight? Why would you get angry over beverages? I don't understand.
I'm not going to name I think Jay and John Sharon know that. I'm not going to name
No,
I'm not
please.
going to name the group on Facebook that's on Facebook, but I just recently left a beer group on Facebook because, well, it got kind of weird and silly with all of their beer jokes and humor. But I had one guy tell me that you shouldn't be enjoying macro brews because all the macro beer companies have these weird business practices and they're evil and they're corrupt and you really need to think about your choices of beer because you might not you might like to drink cocoa or eat cocoa, but imagine the kind of slave trades that are going on in the cocoa business. And I'm like, really? It's a beer. If you don't like macro beers, and I understand that this guy, he said he worked in the beer industry. I understand that you like craft beers and craft beer supported you your whole life, but just because you don't enjoy the business of macro brewing beers doesn't mean that I can't drink a beer and enjoy it. But that wasn't his issue. His issue was evil business practices.
Yeah, right. And that's a whole nother issue, and I don't want to get too deep into that right now because that.
Hey, John and Ron, y'all have visited the Anheuser-Busch plants that give tours, right?
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
twice, two different
Yeah,
ones.
it's a great tour for the Anheuser-Busch. I mean, after visiting that, do you think Budweiser is a crap product and it's poorly made?
No, I never did think that.
I get so offended almost when I hear people say it's a crap beer, it's poorly made. I'm like, no, it's not. It's one of the highest quality beers out there.
No, it's just people.
Yeah,
Now, here
it's
we
like,
got. Well, no, wait. Now hold on. Now we have Jez, who does beer reviews from Australia, joining us. Can you hear us, Jez?
what time is it there?
Oh, it's only about 1:30, 2 o'clock around that.
Nice.
Oh wow,
Yeah, he's all going.
you're in the future.
Yes, I am in the future. Yes.
So he's joining. Now, Jez, you and John. Now, Jez, before you start talking, I want to let John talk because he's got to go to work tomorrow early. Now, John, Sharon, and I'm sure I am happy to talk to Jez though because I hadn't had to hang out with him in what 2 years, Jez?
Yeah, nearly.
Yeah, nearly 2 years. John, Sharon, what do you think about this whole craft beer controversy?
You know, I guess I might be showing my age a little bit, but I can remember when there was no such thing as craft beer. I can remember when the hype of the craft beer hit in the late '80s and early '90s, and then it started to climb down a little bit. But and I guess I might make people mad, but you know, we as Americans done something like trying to reinvent the wheel. Does that sound right? Because there was IPAs, there was lagers, there was all these beers out back in the early 1900s, pre-prohibition, made by Anchor Brewing Company, I believe, that
Maybe a lot of
trying to make something and put 10 times the hops to it. But as far as what's going on in today's market, I think you've seen in the last 2 months what AB InBev is doing. They're buying up breweries. And why are they buying up breweries? Because it's like Breckenridge Brewing Company in Colorado. I mean, they invested $36 million in their facility, and they needed a backer to help them do that, and they couldn't find a backer. So, do you honestly, to me, think AB InBev called them and said, "Hey, we'll back you up"? How did they know that? I mean, it's just like, you know, I mean, you take these small breweries like Lagunitas and some of these others that's selling out. I mean, these people striving to make a beer to sell to a company. I mean, it's like hitting it's like any one of us on this panel trying to hit a freaking lottery right now. I mean, if you got with a decent freaking beer, and and you want to take your beer from point A to point M, but you can't do it from point A to point C, you're going to sell it because you're going to sell it for millions of dollars, and you're going to get a kickback off of it over the years to say, hey, my beer is going to go from over the Mississippi River west or east, and I want to make money off of it. I don't think Anheuser-Busch is out here seeking all these places out. I think these places are seeking Anheuser-Busch out. I think these places are seeking Heineken out, Miller Coors out, and all these other places out because, hey, they're seeing a fortune right now. And they're going to start seeing in the next, and I'm going to say it, and I've said it more than once, you're going to see in the next 1 to 2 years that the market's not going to keep sustaining these $20 and $30 bombers. People can't keep affording these bombers because the economy over here is not going to keep it going. And the only reason it's keeping it going right now is because of social media.
Yeah, and another thing, John. Yeah, New Belgium might be looking for a buyer. John, people always say this, like, oh, what Anheuser-Busch bought them out and they ruined the beer. They changed the recipe, but they can never show how they did it. They never can prove it. They just say it. Now, I don't know. I never tried Goose Island or I'm just using that because that's the one people always talk about, right? Goose Island.
Yeah.
I never tried that before the buyout because we never could get it. Then Anheuser-Busch bought it out, and the store's full of Goose Island beer.
I can remember back in the day, pre-InBev, that you could buy Goose Island. It was hard to get, but you could buy it. But I mean, you got to look at the pros and cons of what it is. And it's like I said earlier, we're doing that, trying to reinvent the wheel here. Of beers that was pre-prohibition and just a little bit after prohibition, but the market's not going to keep sustaining these freaking $20 and $30 bombs or $20 and $30 16-ounce beers because they was aged in let me say it, Pappy barrels. I mean, there's more Pappy barrels, which is not really Pappy barrels because Pappy's not really Pappy, but you can say what you want to say. There's more beers out there with a Pappy name on them than there is Pappy barrels.
Talking about Pappy Van Winkle?
Yeah.
Okay, now it's interesting that why would they want to buy a really popular beer brand and then change it so that people would hate it?
They're not.
I was like, does that make sense?
It costs a lot of money to build and promote a brand.
Budweiser.
They wouldn't want to do that.
Only thing Budweiser's doing is buying that to say they own it. They're not going to change nothing. They don't want to change nothing.
I mean, they might change the quality control, which might make it better, like taste more consistent, but they're not going to change the recipe.
Yeah, if these brands wanted to, I mean, if Anheuser-Busch wanted to, they could just buy out all these breweries, tear them down just to say, well, we're buying up the competition. There's no more competition, but obviously,
they don't do that. They just keep producing them. Now,
obviously, because anybody views, because these companies view craft beer as I think the whole conversation that we're going towards is, the Anheuser-Busch views craft beer as an in thing, so they better get into that game while it's still hot and fresh. Because I think it still is fresh.
Why would Anheuser-Busch have produced this? They're trying to get into the game.
Here's one thing I think people don't understand. Then we're definitely going to Jez. A lot of people say, well, Anheuser-Busch sees craft beer as a threat. I think really they just see it as an opportunity.
Yep.
They're like a shark swimming in the ocean, and they say, oh, I'm going to eat that. That looks good. They're not saying, oh, I'm scared of that fish. They're just saying, I'm going to eat that fish. Now, so I don't think they see it as a threat. They just see it as an opportunity, and they're capitalizing upon that opportunity. I have a book called The Craft Beer Revolution, which sort of backs up what I'm saying because the guy that wrote the book, Steve Hindy, said that. He said if Anheuser-Busch thought we were a threat, why did they help us get our brewery started? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
No,
Now,
no. But you know, I have these. I don't care what anybody says. Anheuser-Busch can say what they want. I mean, but they're not. These beer companies aren't a threat to them.
If Anheuser-Busch really wanted to not help,
And I'm just as big a freaking craft beer snob as the rest of them. And yes, I trade rare beers, and I do this, and I do that. But you mark my word, in the next year or two, the market's not going to sustain these beers. They're not going to sustain the $20, $30 million these people put in their breweries because the craft market is going like this. Because it's starting to kind of, and you know as well as I'm talking about, Jay, you've seen it in the 90s too, just like I did. It's starting to peak down a little bit.
Yep.
hey, Anheuser-Busch could easily tell all their distributors, we're not going to allow y'all to distribute the local microbreweries anymore. They could do that just like that.
Well, they tried that, but Benny Keith of Houston told them, screw off, we're carrying craft beer anyway. And Benny Keith was so big, Anheuser-Busch couldn't screw with those guys. But wait, now, Jez, you joining us from Australia, and you probably run into the same kind of controversy with craft versus macro. And I've watched so many hours of your videos. So you're kind of like us guys. You like to drink the big and the small also. So we're gonna let Jez talk. We're gonna let Jez talk.
Yeah, well, Australia's a little bit different to the States. If you guys have, thousands of craft brewers, Australia doesn't have it. And population-wise, it's like only 21 million of us in a big country, and the breweries are scattered. Like the closest craft brewer to me would be 250 kilometres away. That's how far, that's the closest one to me. So, and being I live in the country, New South Wales, Australia. Not too many people really think about the beer as much. It's more the online community where I talk beer. I don't really talk much beer, every day to people. A lot of people are happy to just drink, say, your typical lagers. We got a beer over here called 4X Gold. It's a mid-strength. Mid-strength's really big over in Australia. It's only like 3.5, and it's brewed by one of the biggest brewers in Australia. And people are happy drinking that. More in the cities, you might get the more craft beer snobs who'll turn their nose up to, say, 4X Gold. But it's a bit of a different beast. Actually, in Australia, beer's on the downturn. Cider is pushing into the market. And same with Canadian Club has been very successful down in Australia with their, they do it's like a ginger ale mixture they do on tap. And that's apparently that's really picking up too, and beer is on the downturn. So, talking about craft beer, it is successful, but we're still very small down here. It's not like we've got. I go to my bottle shop. There's one bottle shop in town that's got a big selection. It's got craft beers, but it's got a lot of crafty beers. The old crafty beers. It's owned by one of the big guys. Anheuser-Busch owns a craft brewery. It's more of a crafty beer. We have a lot of those here. That's pretty much the craft, and a lot of people drink it, think it's like a craft beer, but it's actually owned by one of the two biggest brewers in Australia, like Sab Miller, or we've got Lion Nathan down here in Australia as well. So it's a different. I see watch a lot of you guys' videos. It's a bit of a different beast down here. Myself, I drink a lot of imported beers. At the moment, I'm drinking Tecate. They import that to Australia. It's pretty cheap for us. Tecate. I drink Beck's. I drink all kinds of beers, but I also drink craft beers. But I find myself, I'm a very seasonal drinker at the moment. It's summer here, and I don't really like drinking dark beers. I'm more feel like a Tecate once you have 35 degrees and humidity is very high. So. So I'm a very seasonal drinker personally, but one thing I have noticed is I get a little bit sick of pale ales and golden ales trying to be like an IPA, a bit over hopped and a bit too bitter. I don't know if you guys have the same problem in the States.
Yeah.
But they're just going a bit over the top.
Everything's got to be bitter, and pretty soon and after a while it's so dull.
And Jay, I get out to a lot of breweries and a lot of different places every week, and I agree with what you're saying. I see a lot more of the old traditional style beer starting to come back.
John, you remember back in 1996, 97, brown ale was like a big deal.
Oh my God, yes.
And then by year 2001 or 2, people were like, brown ale? Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And now now brown ales are starting to make a comeback because people are realizing, wait a minute, that's a good style of beer, even though it's not 102 IBUs.
Exactly.
So
I think you're kind of starting to see the big IPA beers kind of taking a downfall a little bit.
Yeah.
And the ales and I think you're going to start seeing it turn here for long. A lot of these, I mean, these bourbon beers. I mean, like the IPAs, they kind of went boom, and I mean, I think they're going to eventually peak out.
yeah, and it's like hot sauce.
I think they peaked out IPAs, but you know what else? Grapefruit IPAs and the other fruity IPAs, they're kind of getting popular.
Yeah, but it's like hot sauce. If you eat hot sauce all the time, pretty soon none of it tastes hot.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like all this bitter beer. Oh, it's so bitter. It's so bitter. I drank Hop Stupid the other day, and I was like, it's not that bitter. So it's like once you get used to it, it's like big whoop. So they kind of injured themselves with all that. Now, I would love to go to Australia, but if I went to Australia, Jez would be like so embarrassed to be going around with me because I would be like, Jez. I say, Jez, Swillengrog.
Yeah.
Swillengrog will probably meet up with us. I say, hey, let's go drink Victoria Bitters. And they'd be like trying to hide. Oh, Lord. But I never had that before. And I say, oh, let's go drink Sheaf Stout. They say, oh.
No, that's good. Sheaf Stout is good.
I say, oh, let's go get some Crown Lager. They'd be trying to hide. But I would want to drink all those beers that I could never dream of getting over here. Although some guy claimed he was going to send me all these beers from Australia, but I never got anything. And I thought he was kind of he wasn't on the up and up to start with. But I want to try that Crown Lager so bad.
Hey, Jez, how much does like a 12-pack of ordinary beer cost y'all?
Okay, so all depends. If you're looking, at say like a craft beer, certain bar shops. Just say a crafty beer, like a mid-range kind of craft beer, you're looking at probably about $35, $40 Australian.
For a 12-pack or a 6-pack?
That's for a 12-pack. That's just for a 12-pack. That's how much. If you're looking for something maybe like a basic lager, mass-produced lager, you might get one for about $27, $28 for a 12-pack.
Like Miller Genuine Draft?
Yeah, it'd be about probably around 30, I'd say, for a 12-pack. They sell them in 6-packs, or you buy a carton of them, 24. So you'd be looking around the 30 mark for Miller Genuine Draft.
Be about $8 here.
12-pack of Miller Genuine Draft costs $11 at the store here for me.
Jay,
Okay.
you wanna get final wrap-ups on this, buddy?
Yeah, I know you have to go. Be $9.99 over here. That's right. Genuine Drafts $9.99 here. Jez, I'm gonna ask you real fast. What's the most popular beer in Australia?
I think it's back to Victoria Bitter. I think it's number one again.
VB, huh?
Yeah, VB. That's
Okay.
number one.
John, I appreciate you joining us. I know you got to go to work tomorrow. I have to do a beer. I don't have to work tomorrow, but I have to do a beer review.
Yeah, I've seen that. So, but
That's damn root beer.
yeah. But I can't wait to watch that. But anyway, I don't want anybody to think we're knocking on craft beer. We're not. I mean, some of us. I mean, me and you, Jay. Jez. Hi, first time I ever met you. Some of these other guys are awful young. We've been around a long time. We've seen the ups and downs, the highs and lows of it, and I mean, that's all you can say about it. I mean, you invest your money and you take a gamble, and if the gamble don't pay off, you sell out.
No, and if anybody says we're picking on craft beer, that's a joke because we always drinking craft beer. So how are we picking on it? That's about what we drinking all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's not legit.
Yeah.
If we're drinking it all the time and bragging on it, so how are we picking on it?
Yeah, my issue, and I was going to post that, and I still may
Oh,
post that.
wait. I know John's got to go, so
Yep.
we're gonna give him his
Go
exit.
ahead.
So,
So-
John, I appreciate you joining us. I know you got to go, and I can't stay on much longer.
I can't wait to watch your video of your InBev root beer.
Uh-oh.
It should be posted tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning at some point.
So-
Okay.
Let me know what you think. You know, I've done my video on it. So,
Yeah, I watched that whole thing.
guys, yes, nice meeting you, buddy.
Yep. See you, John.
Guys, I'll see y'all Wednesday. Join us Wednesday, Jez, if you can, buddy.
Oh, I have to see.
Carlsberg Elephant.
Yummy.
Okay, good night.
Later.
Good night. I told John, I said, you ready to do the hangout? He said, I'm already in bed. I said, what? Because I was talking to him. And I said, are we on the same time zone? He said, yeah. I said, I don't think so. No, we're on the same time zone. So today, an hour ago, I said, well, it's 8 o'clock. He said, 8 o'clock, it's after 9 o'clock. I said, it was some kind of confusion. It was so comical, you know. But he's pretty laid back. And that's the way, and I'm bringing it up because that's the way you have to be when you're drinking these beers. You can't be uptight about it. I mean, I guess you could be, but then you'd be getting in arguments with people all the time talking about, oh, you're a, what do they say in the British countries? You're a ponce.
Yep.
You're a whatever, you know. It's like, wow, why do you have to get angry with people about a beverage? But Eric, you were about to say something.
Yeah, I'm trying to even remember. I mean, I think the general gist of what I was going to say was I don't really think that it's so much an issue with craft beers got to be more superior to macro beers, or you shouldn't be able to you shouldn't be drinking a macro beer out in public because you're going to be seen as some kind of weird looking person. If macro beer wasn't the giant thing that it is, then why would anybody drink it in the first place? And if it was that horrible, why would anybody drink it in the first place? But my main issue with the craft beer community is trying to drink, say, like a Victoria Bitter or a Foster's Lager, even in the States, something like that, and having people really look down on you for your choice of a beverage. That's my main issue with the craft beer community. I know like I said, there's the craft beer guys that don't even drink macro beers. There's macro beer guys that don't even drink craft beer. There's both that drink, both. And then there's the 40-ounce community, which is a totally different story. But I like to be in that category of both because I don't get to limit myself and I don't dislike the flavors of really a lot of different styles of beer. And you're better off that way because there's more selection at the store. You have way more friends when you go out to the bars. When you go to a picnic or a barbecue, there's way more selections. You don't have to be so picky. And none of it really, I mean, there are some that really do taste pretty nasty and horrible if you look down in the bottom barrel, but none of it's really that bad. And why should I be forced to limit myself just because I have friends that say only drink Chimay Blue Label and will never drink Bud Light? Why should I have to limit myself because of selection?
To be fair now,
Mm-hmm.
they got some people at the lower end, like your Budweiser, your Schlitz malt liquor people, that like to go around talking about, I'm drinking Budweiser, I'm drinking Schlitz malt liquor. Two middle fingers to you craft beer people.
Yeah.
They try to
True.
they try to set fires too. Like they're, okay, good, you're Mr. Big Shot because you drink Budweiser and Schlitz malt liquor. No one cares, okay?
Actually,
It's like these people that vape. They use those vape cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
They want to let everybody know that they're vaping. It's like, okay,
Yes.
you vape, we get it. We don't care. So it's like, okay, you drink 40-ounce malt liquors. No one cares. Okay, you don't have to show everybody. It's nice, but you don't have to be mad at the people that drink Chimay Blue Cap, and the Chimay Blue Cap people don't have to look down on you because you drink Bud Ice. I don't care what you drink. I am not going to get mad at people because they drink a beverage. Okay, I know some people that drink Diet Coke and Tab. I hate that stuff. I hate diet drinks. I hate diet drinks so much. I want diet drinks to die and not exist. But I don't care if people drink them. But
Right.
and I'm not going to tell people, you know what, I hate diet drinks. But I hate them. But I'm not going to tell people that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, any closing thoughts? Jez from Australia. It's after 2. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon over there, isn't it now?
Yes, that'd be correct. Yeah, it's afternoon. I'm on holidays. That's why I can join you. Normally I'm working. So, but closing thoughts. You know, you don't have to pick a side. You don't have to pick a side. You can enjoy saying a Budweiser, or you can enjoy Sierra Nevada. You don't have to pick a side. Every beer has a purpose, and you know, like I said, I'm a very seasonal drinker, and there's so many beers out there to enjoy through the seasons. Darker beers for winter, your lighter beers for summer. It's a great selection. Sometimes you feel like some hops, and sometimes you don't feel like hops, and sometimes you feel like a little bit of bitterness, sometimes you don't want the bitterness. So you don't have to pick a side. As long as you're drinking beer, we're all winning. So we keep beer going, and we don't want to die now. We want to keep going, keep growing. We all support each other.
Like Eric's saying, amen, amen. He's typing amen. Well said. You said the best thing tonight, I
I
think.
agree 100%.
No side. You don't have to pick a side. Last comments from John.
Yeah, as long as you make a good beer with purpose, I don't have any problem with it. Just don't really care for all these beers. Like for example, the IPAs. They throw a bunch of hops in a batch and think it's gonna taste good. I'm not all into that, but as long as you make a good, refreshing beer, I'm all for it.
Now, if it's football we're talking about, then you have to pick a side. Go Saints, go. That's different.
Panthers.
Yeah, right. Like that's gonna ever happen. But anyway,
Oh!
Oh, hurt.
I'm not against the Panthers. They haven't won ever. Okay, look, they're in the same division as the Saints. I wish them well. They went to the Super Bowl once. The man did not know how to kick the ball off.
That was my first Super Bowl I ever watched too.
That was a nightmarish ending. But beyond that, I hope they do well, you know, but
The biggest team I'm worried about is the Seattle Seahawks. Like they're good. Like
I would be very
they
concerned.
beat them by the skin of their butt last time.
I
So
would be very concerned. Now, when it comes to Jez, he's going to support the Tigers and the black and orange. He's never going to change, right?
No, won't change.
Jez, where do you live at in Australia?
I live in northern New South Wales, about 700 kilometres north of Sydney.
Wow.
Oh wow.
That's a long way.
Um,
And that's your team, right? The Tigers.
Yeah, West Tigers. Yep, that's my team, based in Sydney.
And that's not like beer. You can't be neutral with that.
No. If I didn't, I wouldn't watch rugby league. But if I didn't go to Tigers, I probably wouldn't watch rugby league. So simple as that.
Right. And Eric, you got that. What's that team? What's that team y'all watch up there? What they call the the Patriots.
The New England Patriots. Yeah, they didn't do so well yesterday. No.
Tom Brady.
That was
They blew it. They blew it yesterday, big time against the Miami Dolphins. But we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, getting beat 20-10. That's embarrassing. But
Yep.
now the playoffs are starting, and you better fear the Patriots because we know what they can do. We know their history. We know what they can do. So so with beer, we're not going to fight. We're not going to get angry. We're not
Well, at
going
least not us.
right, us. We're talking about us.
Yeah.
Sports, well, it's a different story. It could be a lot of anger, but within the right context, right?
Yep.
In the right context. Okay, well, thanks for joining, everybody. It was a lot of fun. And Jez, don't worry, I still keep up with your videos. When you do beers that I've had, I'll watch them.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yes. I've got to keep it up.
I never watch videos for beers that I haven't had, though, because then I can't relate to it. It's like, what's the point of watching a video? But for beers that I'm drinking or I'm about to drink, I love watching those videos. So. John Walker, we're going to keep inviting you. You want us to keep inviting you on those Wednesday nights?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I was able to join one not too long ago. For a little while.
That's true.
I don't know if I can get Elephant. I'm not sure. I'll have to go look. I'm going to Total Wine tomorrow after work.
Get
to
on
pick
this
up.
thing. Okay.
I'm picking up Bud Bar or Czech Bar.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Well, the last thing I'm gonna say on this, if you get on the St. Killian's Importers website, there's a locator tool, and if you type in Carlsberg Elephant, it'll tell you if it's available in your area.
Nice.
Yep. It'll
Like,
even tell you.
would you St. Killian's?
St. Killian's Importers. It'll even tell you which stores carry it,
Okay.
and it'll show you on a map. I looked at that this morning. Okay,
All
well,
right, I'll look that up.
good night, folks. Enjoy your beer. Don't drink too much. And we all know the rest that you need to know. All right. Good night.